And hello again, and welcome to today's Sugardale Charge Chat. I'm Scott Zurilla. Glad you are with us, and it's a real pleasure to welcome in the head coach of the Canton Charge, Nate Reinking. Coach, great to see you again. How you doing? Thanks for joining me.
Great for having me. I mean, it's a lot of fun down here, getting together with the guys and just starting training camp. So it's been a blessing to be down here.
Well, I'll say this, though, Coach, before we talk about all the good stuff, you got to tell me about the quarantine. What's that been like, and what did you do to keep busy to get yourself through that?
Yeah, we had some Zoom calls with the guys, to get them ready, show them a little bit of film just that way. Other than that, it's a lot of downtime where you're just relaxing and prepping for practice and doing things like that. And then trying to get some yoga or some sort of, workout in the room and spend time that way.
I was going to ask you, what have you done to keep yourself busy, try to stay active a little bit? Because, I've been with you in the hotel gyms and things like that. I know you like to stay active. Was it hard to find things to keep your body moving?
Yeah. I mean, you had to, shove your bed around and try and make some space in your room. And other than that, like I said, I brought the yoga mat, rolled that out and played some videos on the computer and try and just stay, mobile while you're stuck in a room for 4 days.
Coach, I know you're a little bit of a foodie. How was the food for you? How's the food been for you so far? You hanging in there?
I'm surprised, pleased. I heard some bad rumors and heard some bad intel on, the phone calls I had before from other coaches, et cetera, from even the NBA bubble. So far I've been, extremely happy and full. So I haven't gone hungry, that's for sure.
That is good to hear. Good to hear. That was my number one concern with you. Coach, let's talk a little bit basketball here. Describe for me, if you can, let's go back day one of practice. There were so many things that you weren't able to do because of the quarantine. But once you finally got out there with the guys, what did you try to accomplish day one just to get things started and moving forward?
Well, we're taking into account that they haven't done much for almost 2 weeks coming out of quarantine because they quarantined in Cleveland also before we flew down here. So it was a lot of conversations with the medical staff, making sure we were taking care of their health first and foremost. So we kind of broke them in easy the first few days, not a whole lot of contact at all, just to get back the body moving in basketball, situations. So they hadn't really, shot a ball, ball handling, anything. So it was a lot of just individual player development for the first half of the practice, just so they can get the feel of the ball and the game back. And then after that, we only have, 10 days before the first game. So we're moving quickly and trying to throw a lot of things at them and just get some sort of chemistry built early and trust with the guys.
Coach, normally in a 50-game G League season or an 82-game NBA season, and my numbers might be a little bit off, but for the most part, the first 5 to 10 games of the season, you're trying to get your footing and move forward, as we're talking about. The last 5 to 10 games, you're trying to kind of peak going into the playoffs. Well, with a 15-game schedule, that's kind of going to get mashed together a little bit. How difficult is that for you to try to do both in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I'm just taking it like I always do at the beginning of the seasons, because I preach having a great start. Because at some point in a regular season, in the 50 games, your roster is going to change multiple times and you may go through a rough patch. So I come in each year preaching we need a great start. And that's what we did last season. And I think those carry you through those rough patches during the regular season. And this one is just, we have to win. You have to win to get to the playoffs. You don't have time to drop a few to find your rhythm or find some sort of chemistry. It's right. From day one, we got to hit the floor running and get wins.
Coach, I haven't studied every roster throughout the G League right now, but I've seen some names here and there. And for the most part, with 4 returners, that's about the most I've seen, which is what you have with the Charge. How important is it to have 4 guys that played such a big role for you last year play a part in trying to do exactly what you just explained?
Yeah, that's huge. It's huge. Extremely important. And Brendan, you took that on himself to bring back guys from the past. And like I say every year, once we get the right guys back, I use them as an extension of the coaching staff. And I want to throw accountability to them to take over on the floor and almost teach the other guys, and they know what's expected. They know what the expectations are of the organization and how we do things. So it's a vital part in bringing guys like that back, and it just makes everything move more smoothly and quickly during training camp.
Coach, you may have answered this earlier, but I'm not quite sure. Has with everything being so different, a tighter schedule, limited practices, but no travel, has it changed your preparation at all and how you coach and how you choose to coach and how you're going to coach?
No, like I said, the only difference maybe this year was, taking into account their health and their body and the physicality of once we start these games. I mean, we have 2 scrimmages too, so it's 15 games in, I think, 24 days. So it's a ridiculous amount of games after guys hadn't played competitively for almost a year. So we're really taking into account that their physical health and making sure they're able to perform night in and day in and day out down here. So that's huge. So there may not, at the beginning especially, not been much contact, and we're taking that into account. But overall, like, to me, this is a perfect situation. I've been in this multiple times with the national team. So it's I've been through these sort of bubble situations, and I love it. I love it. It's you're locked in. You don't have any outside distractions, and it's literally the 3 hours you have that they assign to us, and then the odd hour here and there extra. But you're locked in, and it's basketball.
Coach, with all that being said, and, again, we talked about having 4 guys back that should help the process, but do you think you might try to experiment a little things and maybe step out of your comfort zone when it comes to coaching that maybe you wouldn't normally do in a 50-game schedule?
I don't know if I'm going to try much different. You can experiment, and I've talked a little bit with the Cleveland staff. If they want to try anything here, and just give me what they would like to see on the floor, and I'll try and implement it here. But typically, it's the same philosophy as we're trying to build the same chemistry, the same philosophies as Cleveland does, and run the same sort of, sets. We'll tweak it a little bit for our personnel, but overall, if one of these guys gets called up to Cleveland, they can fit right in and they know what's going on. So we're doing the same sort of strategies and philosophies as Cleveland, and they've been successful from the start of the season. So it's a great experience for me to try and, teach the same down here.
Coach, you mentioned a second ago about personnel. Looking at your roster, you have, in my eyes, one true big man in Marquise Bolden, guard heavy, wing heavy. Describe the team to us, the makeup and what you see and what you can put out onto the floor.
Yeah, like you said, guard heavy, wing heavy, and we've got Queese anchor in the middle, and then we have Aaron Epps, also as our other big. Hopefully, with this roster that we have, we're going to be flying up and down the floor. We can defend. These guys are, what's called Swiss Army knife, and they're able to defend multiple positions. We'll do hopefully a lot of different things on the defensive end that, get the ball turned over so we can just get out and run. And these guys are offensively skilled, and there's quite a few of these guys that know how to put the ball in the bucket. So if we can defend the way we want to defend and get out and run, hopefully we're putting a lot of points on the board.
And Coach, the last one before I let you go, there's plenty of things you and I have been talking off and on throughout last spring. G League games, Canton Charge games are finally here. I know how excited I am. How excited are you to stop talking about everything and finally get out onto the floor, no matter what state you're in, what city you're in, to finally get some Canton Charge basketball going?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the season, we had such a special season last year, and we had, high expectations to finish that year off. So that one kind of hurt to end, but man, it just feels great to be out here and just be out on the floor with these guys, and hopefully we can carry that, season chemistry that we had last year into this one, and somehow, some way find our way back to the playoffs and make a run.
Well, Coach, all the best through the 15-game quick schedule. Like you said, 15 games in 24 days. Thanks, as always, for the time. We'll be watching, and maybe we'll catch up again once the season gets rolling. Although, now that I think about it, you're not going to have much time for any more chit-chats. You better just worry about basketball. We'll talk to you when the season ends.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it.